Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier.
Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Jerry from the Neutral Corner. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to share the show. Go to YouTube, type in the Neutral Corner, Massachusetts. We're the very first one. Give us a subscribe, hit the little bell so that way you'll know when we go live. You can go over to our Facebook page, the Neutral Corner also, and give us a like, give us a follow, and you'll know when we're having guests and what type of gyms and stuff like that. Tonight, we got a great guest. It's actually a pleasure to have him on. I see him everywhere, and I got to know him at these events. And great guy. He's everywhere. He's at all these tournaments. He is the USA New England boxing president, Alex. You want to bring Alex in? Here he is. How are we?
Hey,
do you like Alex or Alexander?
You can call me Alex. Make it short, easy.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Blessed like always. Thank you for having me on the show.
No, thank you for taking the time to come on the show. I know you're running a gym. You're at all the tournaments. You're a very busy person. So it's great that you take time to come on the Neutral Corner. The Neutral Corner has always been about that, having gyms come on and people come on and tell their story and be able to promote it. On the Neutral Corner, that's what we want to be about. So it's a pleasure to have you on, man. And let's get right to it. You want to get right to it?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. So a little bit about you. I want to get to know you a little bit. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into boxing.
It's a long story, you know. Well, you know, we cut it short. I've been involved in boxing since, you know, I was a kid. I was actually brought up in martial arts, and
Wow.
I train martial arts. I'm a third-degree black belt in Kempo Karate. I competed in a really high platform. I fought for USA Karate back in '98. Really high intense martial art background. Won nationals '98 and '99. I did really good, but then I was also boxing at the same time. I was boxing out of the Boys and Girls Club out of Lynn. Coach Pavone was my coach at the time before he retired, and rest his soul, passed away. I was probably one of his last active boxers that he basically trained under the Boys and Girls Club. I won nationals, Golden Gloves in Michigan back in 2000, 2001. I have 39 active fights, 7 losses registered on the USA Boxing. You know, I've done a lot.
I guess so.
Yeah, and
that's your president right there. He knows the game. He knows the game, baby. He knows he's better. And not just in the boxing, the karate too. That's impressive, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. And then as life went on, you know, I was really educated. I went to college, all of that, but I chose the right direction on life, and it got me incarcerated. I don't even know why. It's, you know, just, you know, being young, stupid, hard headed.
Yeah, I've been there. I got you.
Yeah, my coaches, both of my mentors died. I mean, like coaches and things like that. So I felt like at that time, young, you know, I was lost. I didn't have the mentors. I didn't have the right coaches. You know, my mentors and coaches either passed away or I lost into drugs at the time. And I became a drug dealer. I sold drugs. I ruined my community at the time. I got caught. I was facing life in prison. Yeah, I did 9 years in prison. I basically spent all my 20s in prison. And when I was in prison, you know, you either come out better or come out worse. You know, I chose to come better. and became better. I know I was facing life, but in my mind, I knew I was not gonna face life.
Mm.
You know, my story, my life wasn't done yet. And I knew that for some reason inside of me, I knew it. I kind of brought it to existence, you know. Going into prison, I'm not gonna lie, it was a great experience. It brought me to reality, salvation. I had to go there for salvation and find myself. While I was in prison, I became the head coach for the boxing team in Concord. I was teaching boxing in Concord, Mass for like 4 years straight. I became the head trainer in there. Actually, our team was competing with Norfolk,
Wow.
Holyoke. We were going to all the different prisons, and they were competing at the time. They had a competitive team, and we did really great in there as well. And then my time was up. You know, I did 9 years. There was corruption in my case with the Annie Dukin story. If you guys know the Annie Dukin
Yep.
story, it was
Yep.
corruption with the state. My story was the second story that opened her case up. I was a
Wow.
high profile case that let me go, and the man up there, and that was 15 years ago. I never looked back. Now my job is to rebuild a community that once I destroyed,
Wow.
and we are doing amazing right now. We has helped so many kids, from sending them to college to help them get jobs. Now it's just spreading like wildflower.
So out of all that turmoil, out of all that stuff, and you talk about it as it was you feel that it was good for you because you learned a valuable lesson. You know what I mean? And like you said, you either come out worse or you come out better, and you've come out better. And you've done a lot to change your life around and change your community and give back to people. You talk about your coaches that you had that passed away. And so what I say is this is the impact these coaches have on the youth today that they're training. You had that experience, you got that, and the ones you had and passed away, you kind of went down the wrong road. You know what I mean? But to see where you are now with it's Private Jewels Boxing and Fitness. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's two in one. You got
Okay,
Private
yeah,
Juice
yeah, yeah,
Fitness,
yeah.
you got Private Juice Fitness, and then you got Private Juice Boxing Club.
Okay.
It
So
started as Private
how
Juice
did you get
Fitness.
involved in that, and how did that come out, and the name too? I want to know about the name.
Well, before all this, I used to be a nightclub owner. I used to own a bunch of nightclubs, like three of them. I used to flip nightclubs before I was
Look
before
at
I
you,
got
man.
involved.
Wow.
Yeah, before I got involved with boxing. I was a great promoter, working with different clubs, doing my own nightclubs, and my clubs used to call Private Jewels. And I used to have a group of girls used to go dancing everywhere for clubs, right? And my girls were private for us. Like if I knew that they were messing around with clients or doing things, they'll be kicked out of the club. And
Right.
I called them my private jewels. Like they were like our private jewels that
Right.
everybody wanted, they couldn't have. So I took that same analogy and turned it into boxing, where I have a bunch of kids in here that are my jewels. These are kids that
Amen.
are diamond on the rust. These are
Amen.
kids that I'm polishing that diamond, and they becoming beautiful rubies, diamonds, emeralds, and
Beautiful
I
Jews.
yeah, they are my jewels, man. And these kids are just improving and becoming all the odds, and and that's my life goal. What I'm
Oh, looks like we lost him. He'll
area.
be back. Oh, here he is. We're back. We're
Oh,
good.
sorry
Keep
about
going.
that.
No, you're good.
So, like I said, this is more what I'm doing right now with the private jewels movement and things like that. I have a gym in Puerto Rico as well. It's not just about boxing. What I teach is more about life lessons, life goals. Becoming a champion in and out of the boxing ring. And I'm blessed enough where I have a lot of great boxers where are doing the same what I'm teaching, being champions in and out of the boxing club. And to be part of my gym is not easy. Not anybody could come here and pay a membership. I kick kicks out of here all the time. I look for a certain kid. I look for that kid that want to be helped. I look for that kid that want to improve. I look for that kid that want to go to school, they want to get work. They want to make our community better. Because the community
Yeah.
is based on us.
Yeah, and that's the,
You know.
and when coaches say, "I don't have no favorites,"
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you got favorites. You got the guy that's there 10, 15 minutes early. You got the guy
Hmm.
that's there to say, "No matter what I got to do to win, let's get it done." Those are my favorites. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And those are your jewels. So
Hmm.
and it's great because now what are some of the now what do you offer at Private Jewels Boxing? Are there other programs or is it just a straight boxing gym?
We are just straight boxing. We just focus strictly boxing. We don't even do fitness classes. We don't do fitness boxing. We are just strictly competitive boxing. We
Wow.
have 165 members in this gym. I'll say 80% of my members compete. I'll say I probably have the biggest competitive team in New England. We have over 50 registered fighters that compete, and they all compete. We got good fighters. We got fighters that are, on the development training phase. We
Hmm.
have a lot, every weight class from 80 pounds all the way down to super heavyweights.
Wow. Wow. And to see that because I know I just seen one of your fighters in a past event, and they're
Yeah,
really good and they're trained really well, and you can see that and it's the hard work and dedication they put into. That's another thing. You want a kid that's dedicated because you're going to pour all your time and energy into that. Let me ask you. I want to go back to what we were talking earlier before Private Jewels, and we were talking a little bit about your life. How did boxing help you to make that transition when you were trying to get it right? You went into prison. You started coaching the boxing team. How did boxing help you in that part of your life?
well, boxing saved my life.
Wow.
When I was in prison locked up, I had a lot of good friends,
Mhm.
all of that.
Yeah,
But God put me to that test, and when I was locked up, all those fake friends, fake foes, people said they were gonna be there for me and all of that. They were not there for me. They didn't even come visit me. But you know who came to visit me? All my kids, my boxing kids. Akeem Ellis, Sheeta Ellis, the Ellis family. They came and give me love and always came. My brothers, my family, my boxing team, like the kids that I never expected to come see me because I let them down, and they came back and they gave me the light on the darkest times of my life, and
absolutely,
that little candle, that little light infused what it is today.
absolutely.
And
It's like
I feel sentimental talking about
no,
that.
it's and
And
it's okay because
yeah,
look at and you have a story that's oh my god. Sometime we're gonna sit down, we're gonna visit your gym, we're gonna sit in the ring, and
yeah,
we're gonna talk about it because you can let these young people know these people out on the streets that say they got your back, they're the friends, we ride together. All when you go away,
yeah,
they're not
no,
coming to see you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
and
Your story's amazing,
yeah,
man. You know, and
and
it shows the kids that did come visit you were the ones you had the big impact in their life, just like your coaches had
yeah,
in your life. And you're still here and they need you and you're
yeah.
providing now.
And that's my job. Right now, like I said, I got tested to the darkest time, and it was a test. And I'm grateful, man. Like anything that happened, it was beautiful. And the story goes beyond that. It goes more detail, how
Yeah,
I got out and things like that. Cause
yeah,
I had to figure my way out, and I had to basically know what I brought to this earth for. I had to know my how can what's the word I'm looking for? I had to find out my reason why I'm here for. And once I found the reason why I'm here for, I justified with my higher power when I was in prison. And he sent me signs. I remember I was outside in the yard meditating, and I said, God, I don't want to get religious because, I don't want to be, I don't know if, I don't like to talk
okay, it's
religious
okay, Alex.
subject.
I listen, man. Amen.
Yeah,
I'm getting goosebumps. You even talking like that.
yeah.
Okay, the Holy
And
Spirit moves in funny ways, man.
yeah, brother. And I was meditating, and I asked my higher power when I knew what I was gonna do. I was affirmed and I told him what was my reason. And when I opened my eyes, I asked him to give me a sign. Once I opened my eyes, there was a hawk. A hawk came down,
Wow.
and the hawk looked at me, and the hawk took off and left the feather. I still got the feather here in my gym. I'll show it to you. Hold on.
All right, I love it. What an amazing story Alex has, and to change your life is not easy to do. And he did a lot of that through boxing. He's got it. Look at it. He's still got it. Wow.
Here's my feather, and this is how God talked to me. And when I saw this feather and I saw the hawk and left the feather and took off, literally just, I felt like it looked at me and it talked to me. And I went and took the feather. 24 hours later, I was out of prison. And this is why I am the way I am.
You know,
And the test,
you know your why now, right? Why do you
yes,
get up in the morning? Why do you do what you do?
I have
You
a
have a
reason.
why. You have a reason. You have a why now. And I
Yeah.
think that's what says. But that feather, that's an amazing story.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
so much.
And I always carry this. I always brought it with me. I always look at it when I feel lost or anything. I just look at it, and it gives me that purpose what I'm here for.
Wow.
And that purpose, I got the feather, and my life wasn't done yet. I got out of prison with $500 in my pocket. I didn't have nothing, and I took that $500 and I took my family out to eat. Then I had enough to have 250 left, and I went to a gym. Actually, not yet. Actually, I went to work because for somehow I got offered $150,000 job to be a district manager in Walmart because, I have good work ethics and
Yeah.
great resume. They didn't care. I went to prison, so the week that I'm working, I'm thinking to my head like, this is not the reason why I got out of prison. Why am I even working? I should be helping my community. So I went to my manager and I was like, "Thank you for everything, but this is not my purpose." I quit that. I quit that job, the $180,000 job. I quit it.
Wow.
I went to a gym with the $250 left that I had. I put deposit in a gym. A friend of mine had a gym, and I took that 250. And man, murder she wrote. Like like history is written
Wow.
itself right now, and right now, I own two gyms, own two homes. God put me in a good position because I stuck with my guns. I knew my purpose, and even there were barriers and obstacles on my way. I still overtook them. I was still getting tested, and I still get tested today. But once again, I look at this, what gave me freedom. They gave me the purpose, what I'm doing right now for my kids. And I'm lucky enough to say that my gym is successful. I have over 165 kids, and I just do strictly boxing. And that's rare. I don't have to do fitness, I
Right.
don't have to do no one on one trainings. It's just strictly competitive boxing. And the same thing in Puerto Rico. And I'm blessed. I'm really, really blessed.
You are, and you're blessed, but you work hard for what you have, and to sustain that, and your story's an amazing story, and I think it's one that should be told. And that's why we like to have you on the neutral corner to be able to tell your story. And it's been great. Here we are getting to know Alex, Alexandra. We said it's okay to call him Alex, USA Boxing President of New England, telling his story. And it's great to. It's an inspiration too, right? So you're working with the young people in your gym, and you're guiding them in a way. Again, the importance of building trust with a trainer and where it can take you, and boxing. So with all this going on, you're coming out, and to give up a job at Walmart making that much money, that's like taking a risk. Like, no, you knew. It's like yeah, a person like me, be like, that's crazy, but
Yeah.
you knew exactly what you wanted it, and you went after it, and you pursued it until you got it. Not many people do that. But not
Yeah.
many people, they're comfortable in their comfort zone, right? And they don't want to take risks and they don't want to take chances. But Alex, you did that. And that's why you are where you are. And you're an amazing coach. I see your fighters fight very, very well trained. And that's the thing. It's not always about when you're training, holding the mitts per se, we're holding the mitts for a boxer. You're having that conversation with them. And these kids come from tough backgrounds. Alex, touch on
Yeah.
that. I'm sure you know stories of kids that have come from bad backgrounds, and boxing's helped them. I had interviewed a young man by the name of Mikey Goodrow. I don't know if you remember the name Mikey Goodrow.
I know you're
Um,
drunk.
he started to get in boxing because he was being bullied, right? But he didn't take up boxing to go back and beat the bully up. He took boxing because he gained confidence. He was able to participate in the classroom, and the way he walked around with his head high. That's what boxing does. And when we talk about high school boxing, and we'll get into that in the closing, I want to get your opinion on it because I've been talking about that for a long time. I know there are states that have boxing in their high schools, but Massachusetts, where we're from, I'm from Fall River, Massachusetts. You
Yeah.
said you were from what, Lynn?
Yes. Lynn Mass.
Similar cities, man.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Demographic wise, very, very similar. So these kids need that, and you're providing that. And I think that's great, man. I really do. So now, right? So we got the Jules boxing was successful. All of a sudden, the presidency starts, right? The president of New England, USA Boxing New England. Lead me into this. Now, is that an elected position or an appointed position?
Well, it's an elected position.
Okay.
You had to
How'd
get
that come
voted
about?
in.
How did you first hear about it? Like, I want to know from the beginning.
Well, I've been in boxing. My gym been in boxing now for 15 years now. I've been involved competing for the past 15 years nonstop. And how can I hold on? Let me close this door real quick because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
getting
good. I
loud.
love the sound. I can hear you. I love it.
Close that door. Thank you guys.
That's
Sorry
the
about that.
sound of the gym. I love the laughing.
Yeah.
They want to come on and say hello. Come on, man. We
Yeah,
are the
hold on a
neutral
second.
corner. Come
My
on and say
brother,
hello, man.
tell them that I'm on the phone to be quiet down a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, but the neutral corner, that's what we're about. We want it. The next time we have you on, maybe we'll have on a couple of the young boxers and ask them how boxers help them. It's always good to get them learning interview skills because eventually they're going to have to go for a job interview and they're going to want to be able to talk with someone. So there's a lot of things that go on, and I love that. When I talk about teaching young people boxing, I always have to say we're not teaching kids to be tough. We're teaching kids to be disciplined, right? And it's that's very hard to do. So how are you coming up against some of your students that may have issues in school and stuff like that? And how you think boxing's helping them?
Well, I teach the lifestyle of boxing. Boxing is a lifestyle. Boxing is it's not like any other sport. Boxing is a lifestyle. It's not like basketball or football that you could stop playing basketball or football for a couple months, go back and still be good. In
Right.
boxing, you take a day off,
The
it feels like you
cardio's gonna
took a
let you
month
know.
off. Yeah, and that's the difference. Boxing, you have to change your whole lifestyle. You have to eat right. Stress levels need to stay low. You need to, you have to make sure you're taking care of your nutrition. It's all about, mind, body, and soul. Getting your body in harmony together with your mind. So boxing is martial arts. It really is. It's the Western martial art. That's what I call it.
It's like you
And
got the yin yang there, right? It's
yes,
complete.
and my kids do good. I push my kids to the limit. To be in my gym, kids need to keep a 2.8 and higher GPA. We need to do community serve. They have to do community service once a month as well. We do community service with the cities. We clean parks. We feed the homeless. We do everything. We do everything. We go to
Wow.
other schools. I bring my kids to other schools, and they'll talk in front of other kids about the boxing experience, how boxing saved their life. Um, the kids are the program. I'm not the program. I bring my kids are the sample. So I bring them anywhere. They made the gym. The kids are the one that made the gym. The kids are the Wolf Den. The kids are Private Jules Boxing Club. It's not me. Um, I say that all the time. People be like, you doing this, you doing that. It's not me. It's the kids. Because without the kids, I would not be here today. If it wasn't for the future generation that they want to strive for better success, I would not be here today. So I am grateful once again to my community. It's like I told you at the beginning. My job right now is to fix the community that I broke once. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just providing skills and providing opportunities to kids that need it. Because if I had those opportunities growing up and the right coaches, I would not ended up where I ended up. So my job is, I already lost one kid to the streets, and that kid made me change my whole perspective of the way we train, the way we do things in our gym, and the way we connect with our youth within the city. So everything is a life experience, and I just make sure that every life experience that that we get in contact with, we make sure that we do it right, because we don't have you know we could lose a kid fast, and we just
Yeah.
want to make sure that we don't send them to destruction. We want to send them the best we can to become the next future community leaders. That's what I want.
Absolutely.
I want to
And
set
I
up.
like what you said, not the next future boxer. If that comes, it
Yeah,
happens, right? But
if
what's
it
most
comes, it
importantly
happens.
is that you grow in life and have a successful
Yes,
life and be giving back to your community. I love that, Alex. We got a question coming in from
yes.
Justin Vieira Sr. It says, when it comes to coaching young kids, what's your approach or coaching style when it comes to younger kids?
Well, you need to understand what market you are, what type of kids you're approaching. Um, the way I approach kids, everybody is different, but it, there's gonna be kids that are coachable and they are kids that are not coachable, and that's why I put in my gym certain standards, like having a 2.8. You have to read one book a month. You have to do community service. You set up all these things, and the gym will be successful because every kid, and I'm gonna say it right now, I'm not gonna say every kid, but the majority of the kids love structure. So when you give them structure, the kids will follow. You know, but when you don't have structure, the tempo will crumble. So you have to make sure that your gym is structured enough where you can set up the standards and the kids will follow the standards. So if you have a kid that doesn't follow the standards, he doesn't belong in the gym. And I kicked out a lot of kids in my gym, and I could say
Yeah,
a lot of names right now, and they
right,
go to other gyms, and it's okay. But
yeah.
just because they don't follow my standards and they're not gonna be in my gym,
You're disrupting things.
I'm not gonna accept them and destroy what we have.
Yeah,
So you're not ready. You don't belong here right now. You still got time for improvement and growth. You just have to leave and come back whenever you're ready. And I said that to a lot of gyms and a lot of kids. And I'm good enough where I set the structure and the rules and regulation that when the kids come, they already have to follow that.
right, right.
Because this gym is run by my kids. This gym is run by my kids. So I have a board. I have a board members on my gym within the kids that the kids pick their own president. They pick their own treasurer. So the gym is run by the kids. So we have a
Wow.
president. We have a vice president. I overlook at them. So I teach them how to run boards, how to create their own board, how to have board meetings and things like that.
Important thing.
Because when you have a gym that is set up and run by the people and controlled by the people, now it's a community gym. Now it's run by the city. So, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I pay the bills and all of that
Yeah.
and make sure, make
So
sure
the kids pay
everything
the
is,
bills.
yeah, make sure everything is structured, but we give them the right structure and teach them how to manage a business, how to run a business, and things like that. Where the kids are, once again, I'm here to build community leaders. I'm not here. If I have a world champion, fine. In my gym, I got 3 ranked fighters. You know what I mean? You don't see me out there. I got ranked fighters, this and that. I have Olympians. They came out of this gym and everything. So you
No,
don't
I
see
see
me.
it.
Yeah, you don't see me like, oh my God, we won the Olympics.
Yeah.
Nah, because it's not about that. I made 2 world champions already. You don't see me out here like, oh my God. It's not about that because my job is to build people. I just use boxing. I use the boxing discipline to create future community leaders
I like
because the
that.
boxing discipline, there's nothing better than that.
I love that. I love that. Community leaders. Who knows? You may have 2 or 3 city councilors sitting in there,
I
school
do.
committee men. Who
I already
knows?
have. I already
Right?
have.
You see what I mean? So,
Yes.
so
I
that's the thing
have.
is through
Yeah.
boxing, and
Yeah.
it seems like the gyms run on discipline and structure, and
Yes.
I think that's what's a lot of kids need today is that structure and
Dude.
that discipline. And then they got to read a book a month,
They
right?
have
They
to
got to
read a
help out
book
the community, feed the homeless, and their grades got to be, what'd you say?
2.8 and higher.
2.8 and higher. So the kids are already going when they go to the gym. These are the stanzas. If you're not here yet, get
Yeah.
here. And it gives them what that tells them is we're not telling you no. We're telling you got to work for it. You
Yes.
got to earn it.
Yes.
You got to work for it. And
Yes.
like you said about boxing and baseball, those are team sports. So if you're not having, I just spoke my last interview with a fighter from the Massachusetts State Police boxing team. I just lost my train of thought. What was I just? I just lost it now. I got off track when
You said that about the police. You were talking to a police from the
yeah, Massachusetts State Police, but telling
yeah.
him like you got to earn that stuff, right? That's
Yes.
not just something that's given to you, and the structure is great, And I think that's what a lot of gyms, because when I was boxing in the 80s, in the early 90s, 80s, late 80s, early 90s, the gyms were dark and dingy.
Well,
Now, I want to say, I know Alex, right? But Doc, and you can hear the guy. It was old school. Now you go into a boxing gym. It's bright, and it's not just about boxing. It's about community leaders. It's about having pride in your community and helping out and having pride in yourself and eating right. So I think all that is what is great to see, and it's happening through boxing. That's amazing. Amazing.
That's what I've been trying to teach and talk to a lot of these gyms when I talk to them, because I have a question for you now. What is
Okay.
a boxer to the community?
Just somebody that gets in the ring, an athlete and spars.
A public
Like
figure.
they see the finished product.
Yeah.
They don't see the
Yeah.
work it took to get there.
A boxer is a public figure.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
an athlete, an amateur boxer, pro boxer, basketball player, football player, whatever,
Okay, I
any
got you.
sport, they are public figures. So if you have a boxer in your gym, you make sure you tell them that you are a walking billboard, you're a walking figure, you're a representative of USA Boxing in your gym and your community. You just have to let them know that. I've been one gym. I remember. I'm not gonna say the gym, but I remember when I first started, I went to a gym, and I seen a lot of these old boxes there here in the bags. And I start asking questions because I like to ask questions and things like that. How long you been doing boxing? What you do for work? Are you still active? And a lot of these boxers, you need to understand us as coaches. We have a big responsibility. These kids and these people that come to us, they put in their life on our hands, and it's our job to guide them the right way. And when I went to this gym, the coach didn't guide them the right way. You have all these old boxes with no future, no college help, no work. There was just like spirits hanging in the gym. um, they got out of the gym, they probably got nothing to eat, nowhere to sleep. And it was because that coach didn't look at his community to help their community. um, that changed my whole perspective, and I was started thinking like, what can I do different to help my athletes? I can have a bunch of boxers that give the whole life, and give me the life from their hands, and now they're just in the gym, free membership, gym about to close down, uh, you know with no future. And I didn't want that in my gym. So that's why I put the structures in my gym, because I don't want to have a gym where you have kids that gave their life, put their life in your hand. 8, 10 years go by, 15 years go by, because times fly so fast. So I don't want that. So I structure the gym. And since I structured my gym, and we're talking about 8 years ago, I've been in business for 15, but my gym wasn't structured how it is. And I had to go through those gyms to have my open. I visit a lot of gyms, I talk to a lot of coaches because my job as a president is to look for
And
solutions.
all right, so we're gonna get right into the box because I know and that's my question you was because I know you are now the USA boxing president for
Yeah.
New England, and I wanted to ask you what is are you bringing some of those beliefs into the USA boxing into the gyms and sharing some of the unique things that you have?
I've already changed a lot of things within that LBC. Um, I remember when I ran for president. When I just go back, why I ran for being a president.
Yes.
Um, I was happy being a coach, this and that, but there were certain things within our LBC that they weren't working right. We weren't having enough shows. Um, communication wasn't there. Um, our LBC was just spiraling down, and I ran because I didn't want my LBC to go spiral down. We didn't have no representation on nationals. We probably had like two or three ranked boxes. They never took care of their boxes when they travel either. It was just like, the love wasn't there. And I'm not here to say anything bad about the past leadership. They did an amazing job, but um, new ideas had to come surface, and the ideas, they weren't coming up with new ideas. They needed new blood, and I ran, and I respect every person who was there before me, and I love everybody. I have no animosity and anything against anybody, but I had good ideas and good things that could rejuvenate the LBC. So I ran as a president. I won. The teams and officials and all that basically voted for me, and they gave me the benefit of the doubt. I came with changes that you actually could go to my website, privatejuiceboxing.com, and you could look there for president. That I was running for president. You could see all the ideas and goals that I brought to them, and I accomplished all those goals. I came with like 10 different ideas to change it, and we accomplished all 10 of them. Since I've been a president, LBC has grown 25% higher on membership. Before, we used to have probably 1,200 members. Now we have more than 2,000
Wow.
gyms. We only have 75 gyms registered. Now we have over 110. Um, the most important thing I rank in I rank fighters. We have 13 ranked fighters, and I know this year we're gonna have more than 13. We have a lot of national influence right now, from officials to fighters and coaches. We have traveled to Puerto Rico, Ireland, Canada. We are doing a big movement from having only like 15 to 20 shows a year, because that's what they were having, and half of them were basically private shows that a lot of that kids in the LBC couldn't even compete. Now
Mm,
we have, together with the Golden Gloves, we do close to like 70 shows. Last year we did like 70 shows,
wow.
close to, more than 70 actually, close to 80. This year is already half, not even half of the year is done yet, and we already done 30 plus shows. We're
Amazing.
gonna end up with another probably 70, 80 shows this year. And they're not private shows. These are shows that all that LBC is involved. We also have created our own app. We have our own app, the Conquer app, where it's gonna mm, change the whole direction of LBC more towards the future now. This app, people will be able to do their own matchmaking, their own brackets. They'll be able to locate all the boxes, all the gym right there in your hand. So if you're looking for 132, you can look for 132, and it'll give you the whole pool of the 132s on our LBC. So
Wow.
now coaches, be able to locate all the fighters, other athletes to compete, just to keep what's the word I'm looking for? Just to keep the open communication. Before we didn't. We have a newsletter. We never had a newsletter. We have our website. Our website that we had before, it was horrendous. Nothing was updated. You never knew what was going on. Now you go to our website and it has our minutes. It has everything from shows, everything that you need, all the information. It's just we have changed, to the positive, where social media has grown from being only 300-400 people watching. Now we are like in 300,000-400,000 people watching
Wow.
our social media and things like that. So as USA boxing changed, New England, yes. And was it me? No. I say thank you to all the gyms. Once again, I
I was gonna say
hate.
you must have a good team of people that are helping, right? Are there other people on the board with you that, and that's what it takes. It takes communication, right? That's key.
Yeah,
Communicating, feeling, appreciated, working together. That's what it takes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, I'm sure you're gonna have a good team, man.
Yeah, I have a great board. We got Steve Clark as my chief of officials. We got Tom Clark as my vice president. We got Chris Blix, he's my treasurer. You got Brooke Wagner as my secretary, and then you have my head registration chair, that is Sonia Moray. They all doing amazing. We communicate with each other a lot, and it's not just them. I'm talking. It's the whole LBC. The whole LBC had to get together and work together to make these changes, because I'm not that person that is gonna say me. We made this
Yeah,
happen. Nah, it's a team effort, and
absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I am grateful with every single coach, athlete that is involved with USA Boxing, and I'm grateful to every single 2,000 members that we have and
It's amazing.
120 gyms that we have. I'm grateful and thank you for the opportunity so we could grow together, make the changes together.
Absolutely, such a humble guy, and it's great. It's just and like you said, you didn't you're not better than anybody. You just put some changes, put some structure, pumped in some new life, got a great team, very energy, ready to go. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's all it takes is putting the right
Yeah.
people around you, man. And I think you got that. A USA Boxing is done a lot, and I just want to put it out there that the neutral corner, whatever the neutral corner can do to help USA Boxer promote shows, promote gyms, and come on every now and then, maybe every once a month or every 2-3 months, and just, hey, here's an update of what we got going on. We're willing to do that. That would be an honor for
Yeah.
us to be able to work alongside USA Boxing. I think you bring the fresh ideas and safety and protocols on how they should be doing things. I think it's
Yes.
great, Alex. I think you made a positive change in USA Boxing New England, and you got a good team around you. And look, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy. I see you at all these shows. You shake hands, and I'm like, hey, I gotta get you on. You're like, yeah, reach out to me.
Yeah.
And I finally reached out to you. You were like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, out of your busy day, to sit with the neutral corner. We all got to know Coach President Alex. Again, an honor. Thank you so much. And whatever the neutral corner can do, please reach out. You got my phone number. You can reach me on social media. We're willing to do that. Interview boxes, interview gyms, promote what they got going on within their gyms. Some have different classes and so forth and so on. President, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much. I want to say thank you for everybody. Also, we want more for great decision. Our great official, the ugly tragedy that happened, last week, and one of our great officials, and he was a pillar of our community, and he got taken away, but he's in a better place, overlooking over us, and still guiding us. And I just want to say, let's never forget about our people, and love that guy,
We
and
did.
we're gonna miss him a lot.
Yeah. I got to know him. The first time I met him, it was he. You know what he says to me? And we're talking about Gregory, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we did it. If you go back to our last show, the beginning of the show, we did the 10 count for him.
Yes.
I met him. You know what he says to me? What year
What?
were you born? So I told him what year I was born. Right? Am I lying? Right? He told me the number one song of that year. And he told me, take your phone on and check.
Yeah.
And he was right. He loved music. He was about music. And he loved boxing. And he hated when I was talking to him, I said, I know I interviewed the fighter last. He was like, no.
Boxer.
They're athletes and they train. But he is so right. And you can see the love and passion he had for USA Boxing. He's going to be greatly missed. And I'm sure he's going to be looking down and guiding you. And he's always going to be there helping out, man. Absolutely.
And this is why we do this. And there's a lot of people like him, humble, and all for USA Boxing, because at the end of the day, my man, it's all about the kids. And it's our job as coaches, because gyms, coaches are community leaders. They are a staple of our community. And that's why these boxing gyms and USA Boxing need to know we are bigger than boxing. We are psychiatrists. We are psychologists. We are
parents. They need that.
Yes, man. And I want USA Boxing New England to think high of yourself. We are here to change and move a generation, a community. And this is the only way USA Boxing is gonna last and keep going for hundreds and hundreds of years, because if you focus in your community and foster your community, you will foster great fighters. And just be there for your community. Always think that you are a bigger purpose than your community. As a coach and as a gym, we are basically like a church.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. And it's community. And I mean, it's I couldn't say it better than myself. Yeah, you got to be speechless here. That's exactly what it is, And again, thank you. Continue to keep on keeping on, Alex. I'd love to have you on often, so we can talk about what's new, what's changed, what's going on. I love to interview the boxers.
Whenever you want.
We have other gyms like Bonato's Boxing.
Yes.
And Aaron's been great with, and talking with the community. So that's what we want to do. And again, thank you so much for taking out your time of your day to come out and be with us. We appreciate you, Alex. Thank you.
Bless you, man. Thank you for having us. And
thank you so much,
talk
man.
to you soon.
Absolutely.
Woo! Take care.
All right. So that was just the president of New England Boxing. And I'm going to tell you, I think we're in good hands. I like his thought process. I like that it's structured. I like that it's disciplined. I love his passion for community. And I think USA Boxing plays a huge part in helping community and getting into the gyms. His kid's going to read a 2.8 grade. That's their grade level. He's going to read a book a month. He's going to work in the community. They help feed the homeless. I think that's the turnaround that we're looking to, because so many years boxing's been looked at as a tough guy or a tough man. It is. It takes toughness, but it takes dedication, skill, and belief in yourself before anything. Without any of that, so he's taking that, and that's the turn of the tide of the new way. And I like this new way with education, community service, building community. I like that in Alex, and I think we're going to do good. I think it's going to grow. I think it's going to get better. And just to have him on was an honor. The Neutral Corner's always talked about, we want to be that hub of information where gyms can go and find out what's going on and how they can come on the show. Reach out. We'll have you on. We'll promote your gym. We'll promote your events. We'll talk about the programs you got going on in your gym, and how it's helped everybody. That's what the Neutral Corner is about. Just like Alex said, right? And he said, and I wanted to say it, but I said I won't. I'm going to let his kids run his gym. Well, you viewers, you people that participate, you run the neutral corner. Right? I just set it up, sit here, and try to get guests to speak and tell their story because I think boxing, everybody's got a story to tell. You know, boxing's helped many people in their life. Alex, in the beginning, when he was young and lost, he found his way through boxing, and now he's repaying that back to his community. He was an open book. He told his story. We gave him the stage to tell his story. I think he's well prepared for the position. I think he's going to do great. I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. Share the show. Go to our YouTube page, The Neutral Corner, Massachusetts. That's what you got to put in. The Neutral Corner, Massachusetts. And we're going to be the first one you see. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Hit the little bell. You'll know when we're going live, and share the show. The show, we don't get many live views, and I want to get more live views and more live questions. But the only way we're going to do that is if we share the show. Share the show and let people know about it. Let people know you've been on the Neutral Corner and this is what they're about, and they would love to have you. Let me give you, Jerry's information so you can get in contact with them. That's what the Neutral Corner wants to do. Before I go, we're going to bring Justin on, the producer of the Neutral Corner. Justin, if you're there. Oh, he's there. What did you think, man? I'm going to do this every show, right? At the end of the show, I want to get your thoughts on the show.
Yeah, obviously I was glued, right? I'm sitting here, I got the stuff set up in front of me, and normally, to give you guys like a quick, I usually watch it on my phone, right, so I can comment and stuff and all that. And my phone's been down here on silent the entire time because I've been just glued to listening to them. And Danielle's my wife, she's in the other room, and we were kind of making a couple comments back and forth as the show's about the show and listening to Alex talk. I could listen to him talk all day. That's first of all. He's very well spoken, very honest. You can tell that he's very genuine, and you can tell the goodness that he has in his heart. And that's a big thing that you can tell when people are being ingenuine, or you can tell people when they're being fake. And you can just tell that, like I said, Alex has a lot of good in his heart to give to people. He's obviously doing it for the right reasons. He's not doing it for the clout and for the glory, which again, you don't find a lot of people like that nowadays. And boxing aside, Neutral Corner aside, obviously I love that it was on this show because I love being part of the show. But his story needs to be told regardless. Regardless of, because that's something that will help anybody, anywhere, anytime going through some struggles that need to bounce back and do the right thing. I'm just glad that it's part of a boxing story. That way, it can come onto the Neutral Corner and you can be the one to share it and not somebody else. So I'm glad that. But I mean, his story in general just needs to be told. And I think the next time that we get to see him in person and really shake the hand, I think it's going to be a little bit more meaningful, because now we know who he is and what he's been through, and I think that's good for everybody. Everybody now
and that's
who
what
follows
I
USA
wanted.
boxing.
Yeah, and that's what I want. That's good you bring that up, because that's what I want people to know, is that the Neutral Corner is a show you come on and just have a conversation, and share your story. I mean, he turned his life around. You know what I mean? I mean, we all go through it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to see that, all this through boxing is just amazing, and what boxing can do. I did want to ask him, but I didn't get a chance to ask him, though. And the next time we have him on, because we're going to have him on again. Alex was great. It's high school boxing. That's something I really wanted to touch on with him. And I think he had reference to some type of school boxing. And I told I wanted to talk to him about that, but we didn't get a chance. So we will next time. But
one thing I do want to say to you, Jerry, before we go, because I just have to say it. After every time I watch a good show, right, when you and the guests interact and you guys talk about good topics, right, you're running the show as the host here, right, and obviously the people commenting and sharing the show, feed into it and add fuel to the fire. But what you do, right, having these boxers and these gym owners and Alex and whoever, Cutman, whoever it is, for people like me, right, and I'm sure other people who watch the show, if they don't, they should feel the same way. when I go to an event now with you, with Danielle, with Sharon, with with the family, now you look at people and you have an appreciation for who they are, right? You don't just show up into a room, Stephen Davis, Carl, now Alex, Aaron Bernardo, all these people that even Dave Simons, right? He sat with us at the show a couple weeks ago. You have a whole new appreciation because now they're just not another boxing fan or boxer sitting in the same room as you, right? You break it down and you get to know them as people that just happen to enjoy the same interests as you, right? So that's what this show, I think, is the best part about it, is you're bringing that personal level to. There's no other live shows around, right? If this stuff was recorded, you can boost it and do whatever you want to make it look as perfect and good as you want. And this was the greatest interview on the face of earth. No, you sat here, it was real, it was raw. You fumble, Alex fumble, you guys pick each other back up, and you produce the best 1 hour show that there is on Facebook or YouTube, period. So that's why this needs to keep going, and I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you let me be a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, man, I mean, you're a big part of it, and I don't know all the stuff you're doing about. I'm just sitting here in my chair.
Push a button. That's all I do.
But it is what it is, and so I appreciate you too, Justin, man. I really do. Appreciate all you do, because I know you work and you drive long ways to work, you know what I mean? But absolutely. So that's gonna be called To Producer's Take on the show.
Yeah, we'll do it. Anytime you want, listen, I'm not gonna ask to come on anymore because I hope Steven is watching. No. I hope Steven is watching, because even though I'm joking, I want him to feel a little bit bad about it. He commented in
great stuff, guys, so he is watching.
I just want him to feel a little bit bad about it. I'm not gonna ask to come in on anymore. I'm gonna wait until Jerry asks me to come in, and then I'll come in.
It'll be the end of the show. We'll call it The Producer's Take.
Hey, Producer's
Take.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right.
So, hey, man, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Neutral Corner tonight as we grow and expand and get better, right? We all want to get better. And we all do. And we want the Neutral Corner to be that show where you can come on and just share your story and have a conversation. Doesn't have to be scary. And, I know sometimes it can be, but we want you to be comfortable here on a Neutral Corner and let your story be known as Alex and our other participants we had on the Neutral Corner. But we need you guys to comment. We need you to ask questions and engage. This doesn't happen without you. You run the show. It's your show, and we just kind of guide it and enjoy it and have fun. So I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. This is Jerry from the Neutral Corner. Boom. Everything behind that jab, and you're going to be okay. Have a great night.
Dundee, Ali's trainer right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier.